The following video contains profanity and subjects that may be distressing to the rich, the privileged and liberal supporters. Viewer discretion is advised, although not necessary for those not living in Queensland's nanny state. This video was filmed without the use of a script except for excerpts from our recent Facebook scrounging for questions from our friends. Disabled Goths, take one. Hello everybody, I'm Lara.
And I'm not.
You're not?
I'm not.
Well, thanks for having an identity.
Yeah, I'm James.
Yeah, there we go. He's James, and
Yes.
he's a bit of a Douglas Adams fan. Now, today we're going to talk to you about our concerns with the Australian federal budget.
And we have quite a few concerns.
Yes, because we're both sick,
Yeah.
chronically ill.
Yeah.
What ails you?
I had a stroke nearly 5 years ago. And I have, the ongoing sort of after effects of that.
And you're severely depressed.
Pretty much. If I don't take my brain pills, my brain goes pop at some point. So,
Ouch.
yeah.
Yeah. So, are you on a pension?
Yes, I am on a pension. And I only got with some difficulty, it should be said, because basically Centrelink forgot me for 2 years.
Damn it!
Yeah, which is quite nice of them, I thought, but ultimately what happened, I had the stroke in 2009, and I got the pension just a little bit over 2 years later, about the latter part of 2011.
Did you get back paid?
I don't think so, because I think by that point, because Mum and I were, at that point, we were kind of so fed up waiting for Centrelink to do anything and fearing they weren't going to do anything. I think we were just so glad that we got it at all that I don't think we even wanted to fight for the back pay, which I'm sure we would have been entitled to and we probably should have got, but I think we've just been through enough by that point.
And you sadly lost your mum last year and you're on your own now, so you're taking care of yourself. Pretty
much. And this is a fairly large house that we're in as well, so it's not easy.
Well, you're fortunate you do have the inheritance of the roof over your head.
Extremely.
What's going to happen if the Abbott government decides to include that on your income assets test?
I'm probably screwed.
Yeah, same with me.
Very probably screwed.
I live in a deceased estate. That estate is mine. And if they start, punching in, asking me to put that as part of my assets, it's my only asset. What, am I going to get a mortgage just to afford to live and have to pay that back? No, it doesn't work that way. Houses should be kept out of the income assets test.
Yeah, I agree. Look, because this is... I'm lucky in this respect that I do have this place.
Where would you be without it?
I would be renting. At best. I'd be renting.
Probably in a housing commission in a very far away area, very far away from hospitals, from doctors, from any form of socialization, which will drive you insane, by the way.
Yeah, which is extremely bad for me because I'm one of those people usually would probably be described as introverted, but by the same token, I do kind of need people around me every now and again at least. Ambivert, that's a good word. I only discovered that today as well.
Yeah, I only discovered that a couple of days ago.
Yeah, ambivert's probably a good way to describe me, really. So, I basically kind of need to be around people. It's nice to get away from them again, but at the same time, it does involve having to go out, be around people, socialise, enjoy myself.
And how do you get about?
With considerable difficulty. And quite often with help from you, my dear.
I drive. Yes. I drive James everywhere, pretty much. When we go out.
She does very much.
We go shopping, and otherwise you're stuck getting a cab. This is why I have to come to IVD nights. Yes,
you need to come to the band sessions, and apart from taking part in the actual musical side of things, the
logistics. I'm the logistics manager.
Yes,
I'm always a logistics manager.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yes, that's what happened with Fiendfest. I was the logistics manager. All right, now James here is obviously sick and disabled. I'm also sick and disabled. But I'm a lot younger. I actually bought one of these today. Not this particular one. This one's James's one, but I bought one very similar to it. And I can just go, The only thing that's keeping me sane is laughing at my disease. I have lupus. It's a really crappy disease. I'm always tired. And I mustered up the courage to drive here tonight, all the way from the other side of the suburb, to film this concern video. Now, okay, because we are both sick, we are our own support system. So we also have a lot of concerns. We did not make it to March in May today because, well...
We just couldn't have done.
I wouldn't have been able to walk those those kilometres.
So that's the thing, even if I could have actually got to the march, I couldn't have walked it either.
Oh God, no.
Because it was going to be what? It was from
Central to City Road, Broadway, which is a fair distance.
And it's also, it's not just the distance, it's the downhill and then uphill again.
Yes, and you would have to come back too. And coming back. Yeah. So public transport sucks. And that's for us, and we don't have any options but to drive everywhere because
I actually can't take public transport.
Yeah, you take cabs.
I take cabs because you
suffer from motion sickness.
Yeah.
You should come to my backyard. We've got scopolamine plants. We've got nightshades in our backyard. You can fix your motion sickness.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. But anyway, I have personally asked my friends to give us questions to answer as sick and disabled people. Now, James over here is a white, middle-aged male, and he should have more of an opinion than myself as a young, alternative woman.
Goddamn right.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that I'm under 30, I'm under heaps of scrutiny from the government and from Centrelink to be doing activity.
This is actually one area where I do kind of get lucky with the budget, is that because I'm going to be 40 in a few months, which means I'm actually which means I'm actually over the age limit they're talking about is 35.
35.
It's the under 35s are going to be reassessing.
If you're on the DSP and under 35, you're required to do a mandatory 8 hours of activity a fortnight, and that includes voluntary work, paid work, study, vocational rehabilitation, and all these other things. And I'm currently doing 4 hours a fortnight with Sydney Fox Rescue, and I will be returning to what's possibly full-time study, with most of it being done at home because I won't have to attend campus for certain subjects. And this is only next semester. What's going to happen in 2015? What's going to happen when I graduate that? The only thing I'll be getting is an extra $160 a fortnight, and that will be one for mobility allowance, which is my allowance for petrol and stuff, because I can't handle public transport. I can't handle waiting for it. I can't handle being on it and being discriminated because I look able-bodied. I look healthy. I look like a healthy young woman. That's part of the reason why I have this thing here, is for other people's benefit. For other people's benefit as much as mine. It is useful for actually leaning on when I need to go for a walk or something. But it's actually a visible sign that I have a problem. Yeah, and this is one of the reasons. Well, yes, it's going to be useful because my knees are starting to give out in wintertime. But when I do go to TAFE, I've had my doctor fill me out a disabled sticker form, a mobility parking scheme form, so I can get a temporary one. So when I do go to TAFE, I am able to park for free, but not have to deal with the walking more than 400 metres to and from the train station, you know? That's a fairly lengthy walk at that. Yes, and it's uphill. You got to go through RNS, and it's ridiculous. That's Royal North Shore Hospital, and it's a ridiculous walk from St. Leonard's train station to my new old campus. So this will make people shut up, and it is really for other people's benefit, because I did have an incident once on a bus where, because I am entitled to use the disabled seat at the front, because I am disabled, but I didn't have the stick at the time, so I got on a bus just going a very short distance from Railway Square, and this bloody old pinched woman started getting on, and she was railing at me for sitting in a seat where I wasn't actually entitled to be sitting. We are more than entitled to sit in disabled seats. So we have issues. That's a good part of the reason why I got this. It only ever had to be once, but once was enough. Once is enough discrimination for you, and it only has to happen once. I get told, you look fine, go get a job. Yeah, I'm getting this shit from family friends of ours, you know? I know, people that... it's that easy. What's going to happen when I do get a job? What is the employer going to do when they find out I'm unable to cope with the hours, with the productivity, and with my energy levels being crap? Funny I say that, because my pathology results came back with my biochemistry being almost perfect, my B12 and iron levels being quite normal, yet I still suffer from chronic fatigue. How does that work? Yeah, it doesn't work at all. I mean, it doesn't work. I don't fully understand biology. It's a neurological disease. It is, yeah. So, and it's my body saying that I am ill. Yeah. I am ill.
But the problem is you don't look it.
No,
I don't look at either. People that
we're invisibly ill. We're discriminated against. And
even
now,
sort
with
of
the budget...
reasonably immediate aftermath of the stroke, when I actually got out of hospital and could start socialising again, people look at me and say, "Oh, you don't look like there's much wrong."
Oh yeah, when you look at you walk...
When you're sitting down, there's no sort of obvious sign. When I'm getting up and walking about...
Show us how much mobility you actually have in your left arm.
Not an awful lot. By comparison, that's how much I can move the fingers in the right hand. I can barely move the left hand at that. I'm struggling.
Well, it affected...
open even, so...
Your stroke struck your corona radiata, so... and that... controls movement, motor skills.
Yeah, well that's the thing. Well,
you're fortunate.
Part of the brain was that it burnt out was
but you know what?
Posterior corona radiata, which is where the motor skills.
The hilarious thing is, we're both extremely sentient and extremely intelligent people. We are just confined in bodies that we can't control,
and don't really like us that much.
No, our bodies hate us.
Yeah, mine does.
If our bodies didn't hate us so much, we would be working, we would be contributing to the economy. We'd be normal people.
We'd actually be pretty
We'd
good
probably be
normal
rich.
People. Yeah.
We'd probably be rich. We'd probably be earning decent incomes.
Well, comfortably well off at least, yeah.
Well, at least we have our houses.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's keeping us from being out on the street. Unfortunately for others in our predicament, they have to be renting and they can barely afford to rent.
Yeah.
And they're living in dodgy areas and they have to live in fear of their safety. And especially those with children, those people who are sick but they've wanted children, they're going to suffer.
But even people that aren't ill as such, even people who are just on, say, fairly low incomes, that are still paying rent, they may or may not have children, they may or may not have other things, but they're still constant...
They're still on the borderline of poverty.
Yeah,
we live in a first
just
world
about
nation.
Scraping through.
Well, thankfully we don't live in the US because we'd be screwed otherwise, but...
I'd be dead if I was living in the US,
So
probably.
would I.
I'm alive now thanks to socialised medicine.
Yeah, socialised medicine is great.
Strangely afraid of.
Yeah. But thanks to Obamacare, at least people are getting treatment for their diseases and for their ailments, and hopefully there'll be more preventative medicine, like maybe actually banning high fructose corn syrup production if the bloody senators and governors and all that rubbish weren't on the board of Monsanto, you know.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, fortunately we don't have such a high level of diabetes from that. You're a diabetic.
I am.
As well,
I am.
which is a double whammy.
That's probably one of the things that contributed to the stroke anyway, so...
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it type 2?
Yes.
But you've never been overweight.
I've never been catastrophically... I've been heavier than I should be for probably a large part of my life, but not massively overweight.
You were never obese, though.
No, I don't think I was ever actually obese as such.
Yeah, and you also have hypertension. You had that since we were a young man.
I've had that since... Well, that was diagnosed back in 1998. I probably had it longer than that, though.
It's funny, I'm on the complete opposite spectrum. I'm hypotensive. My blood pressure... On a good day, it's about 90/50, and on bad days, it can get as low as 70/40 or something, and I'm still functioning, surprisingly.
I don't know how.
Sometimes I look at the blood pressure monitor and think, shouldn't I be dead?
Yeah.
But then again, the difference is...
At the very least, not be unconscious.
The difference is, we're biologically opposite. I'm a female, James is a male. Biological females are prone to low blood pressure, as young biological males are prone to high blood pressure, but biological females can also have that. And the reason why I'm using biological, we're talking chromosomal. We're not talking about gender identity. And that's another thing. This one question that was raised by one of my friends.
It was a particularly excellent question, in fact.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, it's one that I don't think we would have thought of because we're not really in the position to answer it ourselves.
Well, okay, the person that did ask this question, frankly, he's just a gay boy, but he does sometimes like dressing as a girl, but he doesn't identify as a girl. He identifies as a boy. So, and he's fairly young, so he posed this excellent question. How will the budget affect people who are transitioning male to female or female to male, like taking HRT? And it also poses the question, how are biological women going through menopause going to afford their hormone replacement therapies? And I actually had to ask a trans woman friend of mine.
Because, as I said, this was something that we're not really sort of equipped to talk about anyway. We're not qualified.
We're not exactly qualified.
And, it's not, and as I said, it's also not something I would have even thought of.
And she said, it just will. 1 box of pills lasts 6 weeks and I can only get 2 repeats per prescription, which means I have to go to the doctors very often. And this friend also went to March in May today and decided to dress as a sex worker with a sign saying the only option for young people. And that is the sick, sad truth, that young people are going to have to resort to sex work just to make a living.
Yeah.
Especially students. They're going to have to resort to unsafe working conditions. And I'm a big supporter of the sex party because of their stance on the rights of sex workers. Although it's not a very legal industry, it's not really legal to be a prostitute or anything. The safety concerns behind it, like the health concerns, the susceptibility to violence, and everything, that just worries me that more and more young women and men, and those who are gay, straight, lesbian, bisexual, pansexual, whatever, transsexual people too. It just worries me that they're going to have to resort to that to pay their tuition fees and have a living and be able to pay rent. And it's not necessarily those who are actually on drugs. Not all of them are. They're just trying to live. They're trying to get by.
Just to pay bills, and they're going to be exploited.
Extremely exploited by rich, perverted people. And guess who the rich, perverted people are?
The people passing the budget.
Yeah! I'm wondering how many of them have actually used government funds, taxpayers' money, to purchase those services.
Well,
it worries me. It extremely worries me.
Well, what about Craig Thompson? He got,
that was a disaster.
That was a disaster for the LP because he got caught.
Yes.
But
the ones that aren't caught, it's the ones that aren't. And the ones that are claiming these things on taxes, entertainment purposes, because, well, if you're in government, apparently you can't just take ambassadors and all that sort of, those sort of important people to McDonald's for dinner.
Be nice. It would save a lot of money.
It would save a lot of money, but no, they have to go fine dining or have their own catering, like Joe Hockey throwing that $50,000 dinner the other night. Shame. That's a lot of money that could have been better spent. Yeah, like I've been to Rockpool. We spent $70 on a bottle of wine, which to be honest with you, I've had a better $25 bottle of wine.
Exactly.
The food was great, but I'll say the portions are tiny, and you got to buy a lot of food to actually get full.
No, for those places, you're kind of buying atmosphere as much as anything.
Mind you, the food's awesome. But the bolognese, I think I can do better on the bolognese sauce. But we got free dessert because they stuffed up our order.
But you weren't paying $50,000 for it.
Oh no, we paid it for 4 of us. I think we paid about $300.
Which is still not cheap.
No. See, this is only why it's...
Something like Rockpool, though,
well, for one, I only paid about $40 for what I ate. $40. The wine was a gift from my friend. And this was only a one-time thing. He took me out. But we paid for our own respective meals. But doing that all the time is going to definitely eat in a whole pocket.
It'll add up.
Look, but seriously, one thing I'm not adamant about spending money on is food, especially when it comes to my ethical choices in food, my anti-palm oil stance, and my sustainability stance, and my free-range stance. I'm happy to spend a bit more money on my food just so I can make that environmental impact and help the future of this planet. Maybe, hopefully. Yes, and I think I also got my cane so I can we can actually have sword fights in the supermarket when James makes an unethical choice in food. And
there'll be a few of those.
Yes, there will be. Especially when we've both got them. But anyway, one of our friends also asked thoughts on access to quality healthcare and education. Ooh. Well, okay, as I said, I spent a couple of weekends ago in hospital waiting. It cost me $24 for the parking alone, and they won't even give disabled people who hold disabled stickers. My mum was with me, and she's a she holds a disabled sticker.
And
they won't give us free parking. No,
that's
they
ridiculous.
didn't. Because it's a privately run car park. It's the emergency car park, so we're not entitled
That's really
to
interesting because I know that when Mum was ill, when she was getting cancer treatment, there's a separate car park near the actual cancer unit at Prince of Wales, and she got free parking there. So they got a special permit for that, for
that's good to know.
So that's,
that's
something
good to
at
know.
least. But
private parking,
yeah.
And still they want me to flog another $7. I have to pay $70 in 1 year to visit my my GP or hospital.
So this is one thing I have.
After the 10th, after you've gone 10 times, you don't have to pay anymore. But this is only for concession card holders. We are concession card holders.
And we're lucky in that respect. I mean, a lot of people out there who aren't concession card holders, they're still going to need the medications.
Yes, and they're going to still be paying...
Possibly the same ones that we're on, and they'll be paying full price for them.
Yeah,
and
then
they
this
come
is...
cheap.
Well, if they come on the PBS, it's usually about $35 per. This is for...
And that's when they come on the public benefits. So when they're not... when Mum was getting her treatment, some of her medications were exceedingly expensive.
Depending on the drug type and how it's administered.
Yeah, well,
fortunately for the universal public healthcare system, she got the treatment paid for by the government. The treatment that she needed, but sadly didn't benefit from in the end.
In the end, but she made it through a lot longer than she might have done in a country without socialised medicine, like pre-Obamacare US. Yeah.
You know what? If we were in Norway or Sweden, we'd be so well looked after.
We'd be fine.
You should actually get your get a Scottish passport or something.
And
I should get my Polish passport so I can actually go to Europe and live there
and get treatment there.
Exactly. Be treated like one of their own because they've got the right ideas. But yeah, so
it's amazing how those countries are actually they're not falling over economically.
No,
in the way that the US seems to be afraid of doing with Obamacare.
Because the tax is so flimsy. They don't tax the rich enough.
Yeah.
And they really tax the poor a lot. And the working poor, they've got the working poor. People are working 2-3 jobs because they're earning less than minimum wage. They're working two jobs and they're barely getting by paycheck to paycheck.
On this note, I actually did read something online that one of the things they're proposing to do, supposedly because with the whole sort of additional now $7 GP fee, they're proposing, or some hospitals supposedly have been talking about actually allowing some general practitioners to work in the hospital and let them conduct their business there so that people don't have to pay the $7. But that's great if you can actually get to the hospital easily, which I can't.
Unless you call 000.
Unless you call 000.
Or me.
Yeah, unless I call you.
And where the hell am I going to park?
Exactly, because the money that you would save by not paying the $7, I would pay more than that. If I couldn't get you to take me, I'd call for a taxi to get me there.
You are paying $70 per year to see your GP, and it adds up because you got to be. Every time I'm going to pay $7, that'll be $70 in a year that I'm going to be paying extra back there. Now, it's not like I'm not paying tax, you know. Okay, the thing is, I pay tax, you pay tax, we pay GST. We pay tax on all our goods and services.
I'm paying rates on this thing because I own the place.
Exactly. So, we're paying council rates. Yeah. We're paying rates for water. We're paying for electricity.
Yeah.
That is all tax. Gas. We've got gas too.
Yeah.
I've got a phone bill. I've got internet to pay. I'm paying $50 a fortnight for my electricity and $50 a fortnight for my phone bill.
Yeah.
And contributing towards the car insurance. I just contributed $350 towards the CTP green slip because I'm under 30, I'm more of a liability. And this is really ridiculous because I'm a really good driver. I might be on my provisional license. I might only have been driving since last August and on my own since December, but I am a very safe driver. I have not had an accident. I have not caused an accident. I may have scraped a car once, but that was just once. I may have scraped my own car.
You're a better driver, I think, than some people who've actually had their license for years and years and years.
My mum.
Yeah.
And my dad. My dad drives for a living, so...
Yeah.
But, okay, so this concerns me, the tax things, because I pay tax, but not on income, of course. We pay tax through other means, and I pay a shitload on my vice. Guess what my vice is?
What is your vice?
Cigarettes. Ooh, I'm a smoker, unfortunately, and like, they're my only means of calm until they start taxing, or they start taking away my concessions on Valium and Panadine Fort. I need those drugs. If I don't have Panadine Fort when I need it, I am in excruciating pain. I took one earlier today, and I took another one about 2 hours later because I'm in just so much pain.
They're strong things, Panadine Forts.
Not when you're used to them. Not when you're used to them. And no, Valium, I mean, if I took a Valium, I wouldn't be here tonight. I'd be in bed. But Valium is my sometimes thing when I really am very angry, very unsettled and anxious, which is those sorts of things just come with my complete distaste for human integrity that this government has towards us.
Yes.
Complete dishonor for us, I should say. But what am I gonna do? Like, what are we not contributing towards the economy? Contributing towards society. We're speaking for those of us in our same situation that are
because all these
not as fortunate as us.
Yeah, because all these things we're still paying for them. We're not getting them free or anything just because we're on disability support. So we still have to pay for the rates, the electricity, the gas, the phone, whatever. So
and you're doing it all on your own.
Yeah.
You don't even have ADSL. Oh, and speaking of which, we will never get fiber to the home ever, not under this government. And I really need it because this video is going to take about 7 to 9, maybe 10 hours
just
to upload. Ding. Ding, ding, ding. It's ridiculous. But, okay, so, we're paying tax either way. But, okay, where is this tax money going? A friend of mine, actually, on the topic of that $7 GP tax, where's that money going to go? It's going to go in a medical research fund. And one of my friends, who is an animal lover and vegan, although she may be pushy sometimes, I'm sorry to say this, you are a bit pushy with your veganism, but I respect everything you do. I totally respect your stance on where this money should go, and it should be unavailable to any research company that's going to do medical testing involving animals. That is a cause I am very passionate about, animal testing and cosmetics. Which means I spend more on my cosmetics just so they are cruelty-free. I won't buy anything that's sold on the Chinese market. Why? Because I have a conscience. And having no money and having a conscience don't really go hand in hand.
That's the problem, they don't. It's
But you'll be surprised how many cruelty-free brands are cheaper than your animal tested, say L'Oreal, Maybelline and all that. I'm happy to pay $30 for a foundation by a cruelty-free brand rather than paying the same amount from a brand that with no no environmental conscience really. And it's the same with palm oil. I'm happy to pay a premium on an alternative product that doesn't contain palm or uses sustainably sourced palm oil, and then actually buy that alternative, buy that product that has it. Like I avoid everything by Unilever, like the plague. I know you. I've seen all your Lipton teas in there.
Hit me again.
Doink. I'm not going to hit him. I don't want him to have another stroke. I'd
rather not as well. So just in case.
I don't want to have a stroke because I either. So don't get my blood pressure up.
Yeah, don't get mine up either.
But
the government's perfectly capable of doing that by themselves.
And the government wants to impose a ban on protesting anti-consumerism. Like, you can't protest or boycott a company if it does bad things for the environment.
Which is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. That's just financial bias. That's just bias towards rich. Of course it is.
Well, you know what they say about what fascism really is imposing the will of the corporate state. And what is a ban on protesting? Yes, I do. And what really is a ban on protest, if not actually fascist in that sense?
It's extremely fascist. Yeah. This government is fascist. It hates poor people and the disabled and the sick and the youth. Well, anyone who's a student, really. I'm becoming a student, so here's another question from a friend. How will education cuts affect the probability of future students completing their HSC and those who may be switching careers mid-university with the higher fees of enrolling?
Because, no, the universities are going to... They're going to go for as much money as they can get.
Well, they need as much money as they can get, and the government should be providing this, because people need to be educated no matter what age, no matter what social status, no matter whether they're economically on the high end or the low end. Especially on the low end, so their future generation can actually get a degree and then get a job in a certain industry that will pay well, so they can contribute back into the economy.
And as has been pointed out,
and take care of their family, especially if someone's sick. I'm fortunate that, look, my family, they are fortunate in the sense that I do have family that are upper middle class, socioeconomically, but we are on the lower end of middle class, like
very much so,
towards the low socioeconomic status, because we have to live with what we've got. You know, we can't go to work and everything.
But as I was going to say, as quite a few people have pointed out, when Abbott and Hockey, etc., were doing their university studies, they were doing it at a time when people didn't pay for university. No,
and now there's... Yeah. Yeah, what hypocrites?
They even predated Hex, I think, didn't they?
Whoa, probably. So, when did Hex come about?
I'm not sure. I know
I don't have any.
I'm not actually sure when Hex came in. I just know when I went to university in 1993, I was paying Hex that time. So that's
thankfully
still
you don't
hanging
exactly
over
have
me.
to.
So
yeah, but thankfully you don't exactly have to pay that back, because you're not earning a certain level of income that makes you required to pay that back. I'm fortunate that I haven't been to uni. I've been to TAFE, and I've been paying the concession rate, or being given the disability concession, which is one free course per year, and then the concession rate of about $50 otherwise. But I still have to kind of pay sundry fees, which
and TAFE is also pretty damn expensive now. I remember.
Yeah. Well, the only reason why it's surviving is because of the international students, and you know what they do? They come here, they fail the subjects on purpose, and this happened in my class. I was in a class full of international students. They failed. Most of them failed just so they could renew their visas and get permanent residency.
So that's how TAFE is making it.
That's how TAFE is making it. They're not making it from the fees of Australian citizens wanting to go study. Most people who are Australian citizens who want to go study are either apprentices whose work are paying for it, or the government's paying for them because they're on either a unemployment allowance, youth allowance, Oz study, or they're doing it as part of an apprenticeship where they're getting paid fuck all. I was earning $13 per hour before tax when I was doing an apprenticeship. Before tax, when I was a first year apprentice in the electronics industry, avionics and stuff like that, and doing my studies. That was the last job I had, and that was 4 years ago. I had to leave. We mutually terminated my contract because I was too sick to work. And then Centrelink gave me shit when I tried to go on the DSP. It took an appeal. I got that appeal straight away because I had a very good hearing officer on my case. She understood me. She understood what I was going through. She put me through, and I am ever so grateful for her doing so. Because otherwise I'd be stuck looking for work.
Because this is the other consideration with the under 35 reassessment and the DSP, is that the government's talking about bringing what they call independent doctors to assess you. They're not going to
here's one thing. Here's one thing. Apparently they're not real doctors.
That doesn't surprise me either.
That one, I was told by somebody who used to work for Centrelink, who's now retired from 25 years of service as a customer service representative, dealing with people on unemployment benefits, which I would hardly call a benefit. I would call that just scraping by on a poverty line. Yes, it is a pittance.
It's not much to survive on. It's really
they can't survive, especially those who are sick and incapacitated and can't get the DSP because they don't comply with treatment. Because they've tried all the treatments.
Yeah, and treatment doesn't do anything for them.
And they are
and they
without
can't
treatment.
Work either. That's the thing.
All they can do is study to keep them quiet. And studying, what's that going to do? Yeah, they're going to cut that too. Yeah. They're going to make us pay.
So these are not real doctors, apparently.
Exactly.
Amazing.
So how are they going to actually allow our future generations to actually, like, if they decide they need to change courses, because one of our friends actually had to change courses from physics because science got cut funding, and now she's doing nursing.
This is the other wonderful thing about the governments. They don't seem to believe in science.
No, because they're backwards.
We got our first minister for science in this country in 1931, apparently, and
now it's been completely
that ministry was one of the first things to go under Abbott.
Yep. Bye-bye. And then he announced himself as the Minister for Women's Affairs. That's bloody irony.
And whatever the...
Oh, no.
And the Minister for Aboriginal Affairs.
Oh, good. Because he totally knows things about Indigenous Australians.
While cutting hundreds of millions of dollars from Aboriginal support programs.
Now that is chutzpah. That's chutzpah.
That's balls.
Chutzpah.
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 And balls.
And balls, yeah.
And it's balls in more than one sense of the word. It's
yeah. So unfortunately for the Indigenous Australians, they're not getting much either. They're going to just be... I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say.
Second class as always.
Yeah, second class. And we can't treat them like that. They were the first inhabitants of this country.
They were here before even I was.
Yeah, maybe that might wake up a few people. You rich white male,
they were certainly here before Tony Abbott was.
Oh God, yes. Before we were, my parents emigrated here, and
so did
they did it the correct way. They did it the correct way. They didn't pay anything because the Jewish Welfare Society or something. They're the ones that brought them out here because we had sponsors.
Yeah, my parents come here on the £10 tourist thing from the UK. Which was a White Australia initiative, by the way.
Oh, that's racist.
Yeah, it was.
That was bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thankful that Rudd actually apologized on behalf of the government for that just complete disregard to human rights.
It was something that he undeniably did get right. I don't think... Well, actually, I think I can imagine many people would object to it, but no, the hell with them.
I completely objected to the whole White Australia policy. That was genocide. And some people think it wasn't as bad as the Holocaust. Yeah, do you know how many bloody people got taken from their families? How many children got taken from their families and put into regimes where they were to be whitecized or however you want to call it? No. You let them have their culture and stop being so fascist and racist. They have more culture than we will ever have, you know? I don't care if I'm Jewish, and I don't care if my religion goes back 6,000 years. Or my background goes back 6,000 years. The Aboriginal people of Australia have been around for God, how many years? Thousands of years. 80,000 years of recorded history?
Something like that.
When they came from Papua? And they've inhabited this land for so many tens of thousands of years, and that's how they're treated. Very nice. That is first class human rights right there. But anyway, back to the education. How the hell are people gonna want to switch courses like
difficulty because it's going to be...
We're not supposed to mention names, but...
But it is going to be extremely hard to switch, especially in... No, the country's talking about
and now she's gone into another industry that is very underfunded.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing.
Oh God, nursing.
I have high respect for nurses.
Look, all that time that I was in hospital for about 2.5 months, and I cannot say enough good things about the nurses at the Prince of Wales Hospital. They're doing
those nurses over there, and
difficult,
the admin nurses.
thankless job. It's
there.
The things they're having to they do some fairly unspeakable things to help you, and you cannot pay them enough money. You really can't.
No.
The things that they have to do.
And the long hours and
they
crappy conditions.
Yeah, the long hours, the crappy conditions, and they just don't get paid enough money for...
Well, thanks, government. You're fucking up the nurses too. Thanks. But yeah, so those higher fees, forget it. If you want to do science, don't even bother.
Don't even think about
Go
science
into law.
Exactly.
Go into law. There's money in law. There's money in medicine. Because law and medicine will always be around. That is why
until they abolish those as well.
Oh yeah, they're going to do that eventually.
That'll be the next budget.
Okay, so now, when we're talking about immigrants here, How are young people going to access decent employment when cuts have been made to education and there is the high influx of skilled migrant workers in here? They took our jobs. They took our jobs. No, really. I found it very hard to get a job in the electronics industry because of the amount of skilled workers that have been imported from other countries. And they're cutting back education in apprenticeships. I mean, they do have, like, there was this big old hoo-ha thing about TAFE, and they're, like, adding more money towards skilled programs and stuff. But electronics, you're going to need people to fix your shit, you know, but you can't companies can't keep hiring imports to do the jobs because apparently we don't want to. No, we want to. We want the access to the education that allows us to.
But they won't give us the education.
No, they want to cut that as well. So, okay, here's another one that really, really got me. This is from my friend Ali. With more than $500 million cut from homelessness and affordable housing, with the budget making it harder for people to survive, and we'll see a rise in homelessness, how will this affect the government with a financial burden such as that of crime rising due to no other means of support for people? Surely it would cause more problems.
Well, you'd think so. You think it'd have to have some sort of info.
Yeah, I can totally see looting being a big thing.
Being a thing, yeah. Look, I'm not
poorer
sort of
communities.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, in poorer communities, certainly, it's.
They're desperate.
Yeah.
For some people, I don't blame them. Some people, okay, they're sick and they get a kick out of stealing stuff, and they need to be addressed correctly with medical help. But for those who are fighting in desperation,
Just
buying,
live.
stealing stuff so they can eat. But then there are those who just want to have their lavish lifestyles, and it makes me think, isn't the government doing the same to us?
On the $50,000 dinners?
Yeah, $50,000, and that $40 I managed to spend, or $50 I managed to spend on my own at Rockpool really did a dent in my wallet for that fortnight. Because I had to get cabs everywhere at that point. But I stopped drinking, so I don't have to pay that freaking tax.
That's
we
one
don't
thing
drink.
Least, yeah.
We don't really drink. James, you have a bourbon and Coke.
I will
once
very,
in a while.
very occasionally.
Or have a Scotch and Coke.
Yeah, because it's not really.
Or a beer.
Very occasionally.
I've had one beer since December.
Yeah.
So I know my money's not going to alcohol, and we've got all these issues where the poorer communities have the alcoholism, they have the drug addictions, and they can't afford it. And also, what annoys me that marijuana is still not legal for medicinal use. Do you know, I have had to buy it illegally just to get relief from some of the pain I deal with.
There's one thing I've been lucky that I don't have to go as far as that. I don't have the same sort of ongoing pain issues as what you do. I
get nerve pain.
I tend to get it in the legs quite often.
You get nerve
with
pain,
tiredness,
don't you?
but it's not the same as. It's not really the same as yours, I don't think.
Mine's a combination of inflammation and nerve pain.
Yeah.
So, excuse me, please.
So it's not quite the same as yours, but it still happens. But at the same time, I still don't need to actually, get hopped up on.
Self-medication.
Yeah.
See, I never smoked it. I used to brew it in tea. It still affects me the way smoking would. I just need a little bit more to actually get the effect. Relaxes my muscle, and it does help with the pain. And why it has not been, more money has been put into that research. And now I hope that the $7 GP tax goes towards that, and finding
nice to
chronic illness.
It would be nice to think, but I would
think of all those people with MS that have benefited from cannabis. Think of all the people with epilepsy. And think of how well it would work for autoimmune diseases like lupus.
So
and
I wouldn't
musculoskeletal
object to this
disorders.
$7 GP visit fee if I thought it was actually going to do that.
Yeah, but now they want to fund medical research into other fields that are completely publicly funded already, such as cancer research. There's plenty of money going into cancer research from the general public and already from the government, but we need other sort of disease control sort of things. We need more diseases put on the awareness list because autoimmune diseases, they affect so many young people.
They're not fashionable.
They're not fashionable. It's not that they've never existed. It's just more people are getting diagnosed with them, and 20 years ago, fibromyalgia was never a thing, but now so many people are
I
diagnosed
probably
with
don't even know if
fibromyalgia.
we would have heard of fibromyalgia 20 years
I
ago.
had not heard that until 4 years ago when my doctor suggested I may have had it. Fortunately, I don't, but I do have a lot of the symptoms, and lupus does cause a lot of mimicking into fibromyalgia, but it's mostly caused by inflammatory pain rather than nerves actually misfiring, which is what the disease is about. It's like having chronic fatigue syndrome or myalgic encephalomyelitis, I think that's what it's called. One of our friends has ME, and myalgic just basically means muscle, and encephalomyelitis means inflammation of the nerves or something. It's an inflammatory.
It's inflammatory, yeah.
But it is mostly in the nervous system, and some of the treatments out there for like physical therapy, especially for fibromyalgia, physical therapy has to be done so carefully because it can really like affect somebody who has the disease in a bad way if not done right. And guess what? Physiotherapy isn't actually covered by the public health system. Not often. You can probably get like 10 visits a year.
Yeah, something like that.
Unless you go to hospital.
Unless you go to hospital. I was lucky in that respect that...
and they couldn't really do much for you.
They couldn't really do much at that point.
Physical therapy is just like a fluff.
In some respects, but at the same time...
Imagine how much private physios are getting. They have to get...
True.
Yeah, but from people who can actually afford to have health insurance.
It's great for them. But the thing is, at least when I was in hospital, I was getting seen by physiotherapists that are actually trained in dealing with stroke patients, that know what actual exercises to put stroke patients through, that maybe a more sort of generally trained physiotherapist might not know so well.
You need someone that knows. Sorry we're getting off track here, but one thing leads to another, and we're talking about all different things. But the crime rate, and you're thinking about looting, like, what would happen if... Like, this thing cost me quite a bit of money, and I was fortunate that this was a gift. This was a birthday present for me. And if I had this stolen, just the amount of intellectual property on it that I would lose because of it, it would be a burden. Like, even from a rich person or someone who is financially secure.
It would still be a loss.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even matter. Wouldn't even matter how much the thing itself costs or how much the actual. Yes, the intellectual property as much as anything.
This video will be on it.
Yeah, it's the inconvenience.
Yeah.
It's also, I think it's, when something like this gets stolen, it's also a sense of violation as well. It's that someone else now owns something that was yours.
And that's why intellectual property is important. This video is copyright to me because it's on my I'm shooting it, and it's my camera, and even though you're appearing on it, you don't actually have any say into what goes on with it, where it's published, because I might get you to sign a release form saying I can put this up on the internet. Copyright law, yay! I get to study it again. Well, yeah. Okay, so here's one. When currently middle-aged people are elderly, who is going to nurse them? Who is going to drive them around? Ensure their basic needs are met when we don't bother to educate and train our young people. When we raise a new generation that doesn't respect anyone who can't afford an education, Abbott's plans will promote discrimination and segregation. Oh, wow. It's like the white agenda all again.
Funny that.
Now, here we go. And Emily has to add, I currently spend $30 on medications per month, and this is after I have come off 90% of medications after becoming pregnant and having to breastfeed. I see my GP on average every fortnight. Sometimes there are times where I need to go in twice a week. I have more complex health issues, but I am motivated to finish uni. However, student disability services were vital to me to get from TAFE to uni. They want more disabled people working and off the DSP, but why won't they support student disability services at uni, TAFE, and high school? This is a very important thing for me, because I will have to register with disability services. Where actually
are these jobs that they want all the disabled people to get into?
Exactly what kind of... Dear employers out there, okay, say you want to give me a job. Okay, I can fix electronic equipment. But I have an issue. I get very tired very easily, and I can probably only work for an hour at a time, needing a 15-minute break in between. and then having to have a nap at 2 in the afternoon or a half an hour lie down after my lunch break to recuperate the energy it took for me to eat my lunch, and then work another few hours before I get to go home on public transport, and then have to come in the morning and do it again, but then I call in sick because I'm too tired.
Because you just can't do it by that point.
Yeah, so even a part-time job, what kind of employer would accommodate me in this case? You would accommodate somebody with a physical disability such as a quadriplegia or paraplegia, or paraplegia. Paraplegia is where the loss of legs.
Yeah, just the loss of legs.
All right.
Quadriplegia would be...
That's completely visually incapacitated.
Yeah, exactly. Someone who's quadriplegic doing...
apologies about that.
An electronics job like that would be... I think they'd have difficulties.
Yeah, okay, so... yeah, I've got a friend who's a paraplegic, and he's been working office jobs, and he does a great job. I mean, he had an accident when he was a bit younger that has left him with minimal use of his legs. He is confined to a wheelchair, and he has a modified car, and has to have disabled access everywhere. But otherwise, he does all right. He's a very smart man, very funny too. He knows how to laugh at himself, but he does suffer from depression, and even though he does work, he's able to. People like that are kind of able to work to a point, and they are accommodated. But people like us who are chronically ill, we can't be accommodated because we are that chronically ill.
Well, the problem for me would be actually just getting to a bus stop in the first place before I could even get to a
even job work at home. You don't wake up till about 11 o'clock every day anyway.
Well, if I'm lucky. If other people are lucky, in fact.
The thing is with us, we go to sleep when our bodies tell us we can go to sleep, and we wake up when our bodies tell us we can wake up. There is no alarm clock. We can't work on a 24-hour chronological schedule. We need about 36 hours in one day just to get all our shit done. So that's what makes it annoying. Because, okay, so disabled services at TAFE are amazing. I will have to say they are amazing. And without them, I would kind of been stuck for course fees at one point when I wasn't receiving Centrelink because I was still on their waiting list to get onto No Start at that point, or youth allowance or whatever I was on at the time. This was after I lost my job and went back to my first job and went back to studying in 2009 to do electronics. It's the only thing
you would get Austudy now.
I would get Austudy now.
You're of age for it.
I'm 25.
I'm 25.
I'm nearly 26.
Because this was the great thing about when I was at university, was the year that I would have qualified to get Austudy, they lifted the age limit.
Oh, was it 21 before?
I think it was 21 or 22.
Yeah, because apparently, if you're between the ages of 18 and 25, you're stuffed.
Yeah.
And now that they want to bring in that 6-month cooling off period
after you leave. Well, that was the other thing I was just about to bring up, in fact.
Learn or earn.
Learn or earn, which is great.
Which is bullshit, because they cut education.
They're cutting education, so it's getting a bit harder and harder to get into a university or
and
TAFE.
Actually paying it, and especially if you're in a good job.
Yeah, if you've got a good job, then you've probably got enough money to pay for the course. Welcome to
McDonald's.
Yeah,
our skilled migrant workers are working there now. Because they can't even get jobs in the industries they want. So that's the thing,
if you've got the job, you probably don't really want to worry too much about the education.
And you don't need to get any benefits from the government if you are working full-time, unless you have children. And that's another problem. As my friend said, she's a mum now. She's still disabled, but she's a mum. It's the best thing that ever happened to her, and she has difficulties being a mum because of all these issues. And now they're cutting out parental payments and family tax benefits. And she's on the low income end, so she needs the support more than ever. But what about the people who just churn out babies just to not have to work? But what about the moms? What about our other friend who has kids, shared custody, split from a partner, and she's got 2 young children in primary school, and she can barely afford medication. She barely can, she works, but she barely works.
She's having enough trouble looking after herself and her own expenses without having to worry about the kids as well.
Ding! There we go.
Yeah.
And the government wants to cut more stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, and so what about the elderly? Who's going to take care of us? Who's
Well,
going to take care of us if the next generation are uneducated? We're not having kids.
Yeah.
We're not fit to have children.
No.
We're not fit to take care of ourselves, let alone have children. We're not together or anything, but if I were to have a partner and James would have a partner and he'd be wanting to have kids. We don't want kids for that reason. We might want a puppy, but puppies are not children.
Yeah.
They're our children, but they're not. You know, we love dogs. So
yes, we're dog people, so...
Yeah. And I like cats too.
And cats.
I like animals. They're the only thing that keep me sane. Just like my foxes, my fox rescue. I really love that. Sydney Fox Rescue. Please donate. They need all the money they can get. They're publicly funded. And from our pockets too. Not only do I donate time, but I do donate money. And even if it might be in the form of some craft materials that I've got lying around, which I have donated. And
everything helps,
and not just my time sitting on
this is what's going to happen more and more. I think is that groups like your Sydney Fox Rescue, they're going to be the ones that are going to be in the real trouble because there's just not really as much money to go around for them.
No,
the people don't have the work, they don't have the money, and if they're not in work, if they're not studying, if they're not learning, and they're not earning, what are they doing for this 6-month period when there's nothing coming in? Supposedly, what do they do with themselves? I would have been. When I was at university, and this is again going back 20 years now, when I was at university, I, as I said, didn't qualify for Australia, and so I basically, I was surviving on parental handouts. Yeah,
and what kind of parents want to still hand out money to their children once they've left high school, you know?
Exactly.
They want us to get jobs, they want us to have part-time jobs while studying full-time, and which affects study. And you could either have two. You could either have money or a social life. And socializing is very, very important to sick people and to students. If we didn't socialize, we would go nuts.
It's a necessity.
It is a necessity. Socializing is an extremely important part to an extrovert or ambivert's well-being. Some introverts, some people with social anxiety, they don't benefit from the social aspect.
No, they don't. But they can always have and they have other ways of coping. You can survive.
We need to get out of the house, otherwise we go crazy. And
we would.
We don't need to put a burden on the psychiatric wards with our problems when there are people out there that need to be there.
They actually need more help, more than we do.
Yeah, because I can get Valium and they can't. Yeah, I had to argue for Valium. I had to argue very hard, and I don't take it very often. But yeah, this is pretty much why. This is another important question because it affects us. In what ways will the budget affect your ability to afford medical care that you need and still be able to survive and maintain a reasonable quality of life? To what extent will the budget cause you to have to make decisions on what medical survival, that is not dying, and those that are options, that is won't kill you but might drastically impact your quality of life? Now, basically, I need to be taking immunosuppressants, and they don't cost me much. They're $6 per dose, and I'm able to get them for 6-month repeats, so I don't have to see my immunologist all the time. I see him once every 3 months, and that costs me $90, and I get $64 back from Medicare. So $36 each. No, $26 each time, sorry.
Yeah. But it still adds up over time.
Yeah, so in a year, 4 times a year, that's over $100 that I'm spending out of my own pocket to see that doctor. And he's an incredible doctor. He's the one that has diagnosed me and is treating my condition. My GP that I see for free, but no longer. I'm going to have to pay $7. I'm putting this away. I'm going to have to pay $7 to see her. She prescribes my general medications. My immunologist prescribes my NSAIDs, my anti-inflammatories, and my immunosuppressants. And every time I see him, I get a script for painkillers. And he's absolutely happy that I'm on Valium, or when I need it. He's absolutely happy for me to take narcotic painkillers. But my GP, she's very adamant. But arguing with her does get my point across. And she takes care of my psychiatric health, although I don't have a psychiatrist at the moment because referrals, They didn't get back to
They're
me.
fun.
The clinic I was referred to didn't get back to me, and I was fortunate to get referred to a clinic that actually does bulk bill, because psychiatric care costs money, and if you don't have health insurance like me, it's really hard to find a doctor that does bulk bill. But you have to wait about 3 to 6 months to be taken in. And if you're in an emergency, you're going to have to rely on the hospital system.
You don't have 3 to 6 months to wait.
No.
If you're in that bad of condition.
No, I have to go to the acute care team at Prince of Wales to get treated if I have a really bad anxiety attack or some sort of psychiatric meltdown, and then they're going to keep me for a few days. If I have someone to vent to and have advice and have someone that can prescribe me medication, that will alter my mood a little bit. It should be better.
Well, it should be. This is one area in which I am lucky that I don't have any specialists anymore to go and see. I only need to worry about going to see my GP when I need to get the prescriptions filled in. So I'm only able to go.
Why are you even on it?
Sorry?
Are you really depressed?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're really depressed.
Yeah, I am. You don't know what I'd be like without it. I'd be...
You'd be a very melodramatic goth,
I'd
and you'd be wearing more black
I'd be even worse than this, so yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty misanthropic.
The question is, we've been talking about the GP fee, the $7 visit fee now. One interesting perspective I've also seen online from some of my other friends that live away from bulk billing doctors, that they're paying maybe up to $35 already.
Wow.
A hit whenever they go to the GP, because they don't
and if you're sick.
Yeah, and this is what I want to know is this extra $7 then going to be added onto that they're already paying?
Oh wow, so $42.
So that's
42.
42.
42.
Dolphins. Yeah. What do you get if you multiply 6 by 9? But
wow.
But this is what I am wondering: is this extra $7 going to be on top of what they're already paying these?
Which actually reminds me about the government's policy to actually make people who don't live in an area full of work move to an area with work.
Yeah, and that costs money itself.
Moving costs money.
Yeah.
Finding a house in a suitable area.
Yeah. I think it's brilliant that they expect you to move to an area to find work.
But they won't give you money to do it.
But they won't give you the money to do it. And if you don't have the money to do it,
you're screwed.
You're screwed. Basically.
Yeah, so basically we're screwed.
They're screwed.
You're screwed.
The country's screwed.
The country's screwed. So anyone who's young, disabled, sick, a student, on a pension, elderly.
Elderly.
And basically everyone earning, under 80 grand? Yeah, pretty much screwed.
Yeah. And even with this...
But unfortunately, we have friends who earn, six-figure digits who are as socially conscious as we are. We're fortunate to know those people, and
I think we're lucky in that we know very few actual Liberal voters.
Yeah.
And,
actually, I do know one.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy, but can't talk politics.
He's your dad.
I wasn't actually talking about my dad, because my dad's not really a nice guy. My dad's a jerk. I love my dad, but I don't love his totalitarian views on everything and his fascism. And did I use totalitarian in the right sense?
No, it should have been totalitarian.
Totalitarian. Whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry, my brain's not on. I'm sick. I've got brain fog.
Yeah, she has trouble with the English language at times.
Yeah, superfluous.
Superfluous.
Herpaderpader.
What were we talking about before we got sidetracked off the English language? We're talking about Liberal voters.
Liberals, yeah, you made a very big mistake.
Yeah, they did.
To mess with us,
yeah,
is a big mistake.
You're in trouble.
You're in trouble! Don't make me come down to Canberra. Don't make me come down to Canberra because I'm angry and I want to fucking kill somebody. Excuse me for my French. No, I don't really. I'm not a psychopath. I'm actually a very empathetic person, and I empathize with everyone who's affected by this.
This is the remarkable thing about this budget, is that the coverage I've seen of it, the people who are outraged by it are not always the ones that are going to be really badly affected by it themselves. It's the ones, they're outraged for the other people will be affected by it. I don't think I've seen that with the budget in the past in this country. I think because usually the budget gets announced and people say, "Oh yeah, great, there's money going there, and there should have been more money going to that." But I think
they made a big mistake.
This year it really seems to have been all about, holy crap! Look at all the people this is going to hurt.
I think Joe Hockey is the saddest. Tony Abbott is the saddest.
No, I think they're all extremely bad human beings.
Yeah.
They really have no redeeming social value, any of them.
We might be misanthropes, but we really do care about people who are in our same predicament. We don't discriminate against people.
We wouldn't.
In general, we are for human rights.
We wouldn't do what they've done
we're for human rights.
Deliberately as what they've done.
Human and animal rights.
Yeah.
The animals are voiceless, but humans are apparently voiceless too.
Yeah, well, quite a lot of us are.
Oh, anyway, apologies about this being so long. I think we've gone in over an hour.
Good grief.
Good grief, but this forum was pretty important to discuss because we are affected pretty badly by it.
By some pretty horrible people who aren't going to suffer for it. No. And that's the worst of it. The government members, especially everyone's contributing and tightening their belts. And they had this pay freeze just after they voted on a pay rise.
No, my friend Isabel has it right. She said that they should actually be, under my suggestion, be paid for their performance, but she said have a 6 months on and 6 month off policy on their pay freeze.
I like the sound of it.
On their pay in general.
I also like the idea of politicians just being on minimum wage.
That would be excellent.
Because I think that you would
teach them a bit of respect.
It would cut out the people that just want in for the power and the influence, and you'll get the people that actually want to do it. But then we'll become a
communist nation. Communism isn't always good because look what happened to Russia.
True. I don't think it would go as far as that. I think
you just want to be more socially conscious. Conscious.
And I think you come out of it okay because you get people that really want to be politicians and do things for other people because there's no real reward in it for them then.
No.
And I think that would be
for money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why Gina Reinhardt and Rupert Murdoch are highly buying into it. They bought their own prime minister.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And
now Clive Palmer wants to sue Campbell Newman for defamation.
Which I think is brilliant.
For defamation.
I don't know what to make of Clive Palmer, but I'm finding he's an exceedingly interesting man because he doesn't do things that you would expect. It's a man who is, quite frankly, a billionaire in Australian politics. He's not doing things you expect him to do.
It's a bit weird.
He's a strange man.
Until he makes his next move, unless he's like Gina Reinhardt, then whatever. Yeah. But I'm still not voting for that guy.
No,
can't trust a man with millions of dollars.
No, I agree. Man,
but that guy,
make his own Titanic?
No, yeah, the Titanic too. But that guy that died, that billionaire that died recently and left all this money to charity, now that is a man worth remembering. He's worth remembering. I can't even remember his name.
I can't either,
but
at the same time,
the fact that he made so much money and he's leaving it for the greater good.
That's the thing, because what can you do with all that money otherwise in the end? So what does Gina Reinhardt do with all of that money?
She swims in it. She rubs it all over her disgustingly fat body.
I don't want to think about what Gina Reinhardt does with her body.
All right.
Pushing it.
I'm Lara and this is James and we're out of here. We've been doing this for an hour. You probably are bored. So, see you guys.